Welcome everybody to the show. We're here in Azerbaijan and it is time for Silver Season 8. Goodness me, I don't even know. It's been a long time. Season 8? Season 9? Oh, God knows. Round 17 anyway, here in Baku of all places. The famous street circuit then. A very fast-paced circuit as well then. And one that can catch you out then with its famous walls as well then. There we are. Right then, loaded in. We are ready to get going, hopefully. and we can crack on now for the start of qualifying then. Of course, 20 drivers now on the grid then, waiting for the qualifying timer to tick down so we can get ourselves out on track to set the grid then for 26 laps around Baku as well. Good evening from Astra John in the comment section. He is racing tonight, I think, in the... where is he? No, where is he? He's not there. Yes, he is there. He's in the Red Bull. Good stuff indeed then. And Archie said hi all and good luck as well then in the Ferrari. So good stuff indeed. Hopefully we can get ourselves set up then to get ourselves going then. Unfortunately, we have got a bit of a well, the extension of the championship lead potentially could happen here tonight then, with Ultimate Beast and his rival of Mumford then not racing here tonight, and Mumford unfortunately has lost out in the championship fight then quite significantly in the last couple of rounds, and unfortunately not racing here tonight then means that he is going to be at peril then of Beast extending his championship lead then in the standings, driver standings that is, of course, and of course as well in the Alpine standings for the in the constructor standings for the Alpine. One missing driver here tonight, but Flippy will be joining the Alpine outfit for tonight then to hopefully take the place then of Mumford then and get some good points here for Alpine. Right then, we have got ourselves, I think, 17.5 minutes left of the qualifying session to start us off then, and hopefully we can get some drivers out on track very soon then. Good luck indeed to all drivers in the comment section of Discord as well, and we'll have to wait and see then who's going to be the first person out on track then. Sorry, I have to be politically correct nowadays. Right then, it's a Haas then. Good stuff indeed. It might be Movement, it might be Lewis Riley, we don't know which one it is. I think both of them are out then, but never mind. And we're having a bit of a deluge out of the pits it seems here, and everybody pouring out of the pit lane very quickly indeed. My goodness me. Okay, right then, that's well, that was pretty quick. So I think we're going to have a very fast qualifying session indeed if everyone's going to get himself out of the pit lanes that quickly. Outlap then for Vesia, who is at the head of the train here, and oh god, that was a bit tight then. I think he might have clouted the wall then. Has he got damage now to that end plate as well? I think he's slowed down then, because there might be some damage now for Vesia, who's had a bit of a problem then coming through sector 2 then on his outlap. There we are. Right then, as Flippy is just coming out of the pit lane as well, then where is the Williams of Kamara racer, who now takes the lead then in the outlap status as he goes through into the castle section here as well then, and we're going to have a few, I think we might have a few bumps and scrapes through that castle section here tonight then, because it is a bit of a difficult part of the circuit. It's the most difficult part of the circuit, potentially the most difficult part on the whole calendar as well then, but I think some drivers maybe find something a bit more interesting than that, but I think it is quite a technical part of the circuit in general anyway. But there we are then, heading down the hill then. Kamara Racer is going to start off a lap then. Will we see some team games here in qualifying? So we saw some great team games in qualifying in gold last night. Of course, try and get a slipstream for your teammate, or trying to get your teammate then to follow you through then into this two kinks then to finish off the lap then. But now Kamara Racer is going to boot it down the main straight and head to the start finish line to begin qualifying here for silver. And away we go then down towards the first turn. Then there is the famous the flame towers behind us as we go into turn 1 now. Very nicely done indeed, as we're going to watch Kamara Racer on board then with his first flying lap, the first flying lap then of the session. And into turn 2, he's clouted the wall on the exit, and that's going to be damaged then potentially then for the Williams on the right side. Then there's a lot of places where you can get damage around this circuit, and unfortunately, I think that might have been Kamara Racer's the first man to get that damage as well. Then heading through turn 3 now. And then into turn 4. Sorry, I had a pot noodle for my dinner, and it's just about to come back at me then in this qualifying session then. 15 minutes left then. Here comes Kamara then through into sector 2 now, and there's a Racing Bull, I think, just getting out the way then, just about. And there we go. Good stuff indeed. Now into the technical part of the lap then. This is where it gets tight and twisty then for Kamara Racer and for all the drivers as well then. We're heading through into the castle section now. Oh my god, and he's clouted the wall on the exit there as well. Then that is not going to be good news for his time and for the structure of that Williams car, I don't think, but it seems to be holding together for the time being, and maybe he's got away with that one there, but maybe it's just a visual glitch then from my point of view. Then now into the downhill left-hander, clipping the curb slightly on the inside, then heading down the hill then towards sector 3, and what's it going to be? It's a 14.4 then for his first sector 2 time, well, his first 2 sectors of the lap, that is. Now let's put your foot to the floor then and get to that start finish line as fast as you can, then heading through the kinks then of the final corners of the lap then. And now onto the main straight once again. Then here he comes in, deploying the ERS, deploying the DRS, then heading to that line. And let's see what the first time of the session is going to be. He's gone very, very wide then. And it's a 39.3 then to set ourselves underway. Then 39.7 for Lewis Riley then in the Haas. Then he is currently P2. Very good stuff indeed. Who is next across the line? Kiki's crossed the line with a 39.1 for him. Nigel up into a 39.4 with P3 for the kick sour. Then good stuff indeed. Then Mr. Lee coming down to finish off Sector 3. But where's his teammate? Here comes Kaido. He's starting off a lap then. Never mind. Ultimate Beast has done a 38.8. Then puts himself on pole position ahead of his teammate then in the Mercedes. Fantastic stuff indeed. Wild's done a 39.2. Then puts himself into P3 then. Very good stuff from Kick Sauber. Then of course Wild on his debut appearance in ALR. And looking forward to seeing how that Kick Sauber is going to fare then. Looking very strong in the first outings of qualifying here as well. Sweet P then P7 then 41.1 for the Alpine driver as well. They're not sure that's his best time. We'll have to wait and see. The Mistral he's done a 40.0. Puts himself P7 and Vessia. Oh dear. A 2.415. RTB's done a 40.9. Then good stuff indeed. Flippy's done a 42.6 as well. The time's tumbling in here in this qualifying session. There's a Williams of Reflection, then the 40.7 up into P8. Then brilliant stuff indeed. And I'm going to try and find out who the next driver to cross the line is before they cross that line. And I think it might be this Red Bull here of Astrajon. Then coming through the last couple of corners and looking to finish off the lap strong here. Then in the Red Bull. Then good stuff indeed so far. Ola says, Gordo, good luck all as well in the Aston Martin, sorry. Ginger A just said, what pop noodle did you have, Alexander? And I had a chicken and mushroom, as Astrojon has gone P8, then a 40.1 for the Red Bull. Good stuff indeed. Very nice stuff indeed. And yes, I had a very lovely chicken and mushroom pot noodle then, which is absolutely brilliant. Where is the Haas then of Lewis Riley? He's coming around to the pit lane. Never mind, I'll ignore that because I cannot keep up with everything that's going wrong in this race. And here comes Kaido then. Kaido for his first lap on the board. Nigel's jumped up to P5 then. Here comes the McLaren then of Kaido up to the line. What's it going to be then for the McLaren? P11 then, a 40.9, puts himself just outside the top 10 by only 11 thousandths of a second. And yes, I had a chicken and mushroom pot noodle. It was fantastic, but I literally just finished it before I started the stream, so it's going to come back at me then in this qualifying session, and hopefully my digestive system will get it sorted before the race start then. Brilliant stuff indeed. There was Kaido then up into P11. Then here comes a Alpine. I think he's getting a distant tow, or he's not getting a very distant tow. He's going to get a very good tow then from the Aston Martin ahead of him. Here he comes then for Flippy, and let's see what the Flippy can do then from P13. Where's it going to go? And he goes up to P6 and a 39.4 then for the Alpine. A brilliant end of that qualifying lap. And of course got a nice tow then from that Aston Martin. I think it was unintentionally giving him a tow, of course, just starting off their lap. But of course, if you can time it right, then if you can get yourself in the right position, then it is oh dear, we've had a problem through the it's their Speakai. And Speakai's just getting out of the way that he's on intermediate compound tyre, so I'm not quite sure if he has got something wrong with his timing, his weather delta and his weather screen, but nonetheless he has got that well, there we go. So that's that then. Gorda then is coming through into the castle section, looking to get his first time on the board. 10.5 minutes left of the qualifying here. Chicken and mushroom, the best one, says Serious Mushroom then, and of course it is because it's got mushrooms in it. And oh dear, Gordo is flying through those curbs then into Sector 2 then. I'm not quite sure that's the fastest way around the track there, sir, but nonetheless, he's carried on going. And even all from Mushrooms or Flipping L, says Mushroom, I think in reference to Flippy. I thought that was it was going straight into the wall then, to be fair, for Gordo, but he's managed to just about steer out of it then as we go into Sector 3 now. Let's see what the end of the lap's going to look like then for the Aston Martin, looking to get his first lap time on the board here tonight. Then there's a Racing Bull, I think, trying to get himself back into the pits there, and it is not Favre, because Favre is not out of the pits just yet then, but he's the only one in the pits who hasn't set a time just yet. But here we go then for Gordo. We'll come back to that because here comes Gordo. He's used up all the deployment then as we go down towards the line. And what's it going to be then from the Aston Martin? A 30.6 puts himself P7. Very good stuff indeed. Where's his teammate going to go then? Here comes Jay Hings. Jay Hings up to the line as well. Deployment all used then for the Aston Martins as they go up the line. It's P7 for him, displacing his teammate down to P8. And both the Ferraris, both the Aston Martins on the fourth row of the grid as it stands. I think we've just seen someone jump up the order. Potentially was R2B. Elite, then RTB improves to P11 now, and Kaidel then in P14 going through into the castle section. We've had yellow flags waving. I think it's just for cars getting out of the way, hopefully. And yes, that's good stuff. Right then, Moomin has done a 42.5, puts himself P16 for the time being. Kaidel looking to improve then on a 40.9. Then can he do that into Sector 2? We'll have a look at his delta time and see what it's saying as he goes into Sector 3, which is pretty much just flat out then through the kinks then and to the line. But of course, it is a bit more difficult than that. But well, there we are then. Plotters has done a 38.5. I missed that completely, but I'll come back to that one because we were watching Kaidel then. Let's see what Kaidel can do then in his final sector then of this lap. Then the second time round then for Kaidel on his flying lap. And we'll see what the McLaren can do then to finish off the lap as well. Then deployment all used as well then before he gets to the final corner. And that could be compromising his lap time then down towards the start-finish line here. DRS available then for the McLaren up to the line. What's it going to be then for Kaidel? It is 2.5 tenths improvement, but he stays P14. But Plotters, we'll come back to that completely because Plotters has done a fantastic job then. He's on pole position here in Baku. Could this be one of the favourite tracks then for the Red Bull driver, then looking to turn his season around then and head further up the order in this fortune? Well, he's had a pretty good season to be fair already then, but he's currently looking to improve even further than that then. On pole position then by almost 3 tenths of a second then to Ultimate Beast, who's no slouch out there. And so far so good then for the Red Bull. Then it's looking pretty strong then for Plotters. Can his teammate of Astrodron then try and help him out then, get himself into the top of the order? Then we'll come back to that then because here comes Kamara Racer and he is racing down to the start finish line here. DRS available then for the Williams as we head up to the line. Then he's going, I'm not quite sure what that line is because technically the shorter line is then on the inside there. He's gone P3 anyway with a 39.0. Then good stuff indeed then from the Williams driver. Then puts himself in between the Mercedes pair as it stands as well. Fantastic. Right, the next Red Bull is Astrodron. Astrodron is just starting off a lap now. We'll come back to that then. Here comes Moomin. Then we'll find out where his teammate is. Where is Lewis Riley? Then there he is as we go down to the start-finish line now for Lewis Riley. Then let's see what he can do then on his second attempt. Then DRS available. Then there's still some batteries to deploy. Then as we got it all used up now just in time. As up to the line then P8 then for Lewis Riley. Then he's improved then by almost 3 tenths of a second then and puts himself up a couple of positions as well ahead of the Aston Martins. I think we just had Wild jump up to P2 then. Yes, we did at 38.6 then for Wild, looking very good indeed in his first qualifying appearance here in ALR and looking very strong then for the front row of the grid as well. Kiki's improved to a 38.7 then puts himself P3 ahead of his teammate Beast, but Beast is on another lap now I should say, as we go through. Oh my goodness me, I thought that hopefully that car was very wary of the Beast then coming through. That's very fast-paced left and left-hander really, isn't it? As we go down the hill then. We'll come back to that. Let's see what Beast is up to then. Beast has gone purple in Sector 2. He's 38 thousandths of a second up on his time. But will that be enough? Then it won't be enough. Then it will be enough probably to displace his teammate of Kiki. But it wouldn't be enough then for pole position unless he's got some great pace then down this main straight. Let's see what the Mercedes driver can do then. Heading up to the line then on his second attempt here in qualifying then up to the line for Beast. Then what's it going to be? It's P3 and he's improved by almost 1.5 tenths. Then he puts himself up into P3 ahead of Kiki, then onto the second row of the grid, I should say. But he is currently 1 thousandth away then from the front row, and that is pretty good stuff indeed. Pretty close stuff indeed between himself and Wild then, who is looking very good in his first outing then. Flippy's doing a good job then in P8 as it stands then going through the castle section now. We'll come back to him then because he's going through Sector 2. Vessia then is looking to start off another lap. Then Vessia will come back to him as well. Then he is further along, or sorry, further behind in the lap. Then we will see who is next across the line. Then it's a Haas potentially then of Lewis Riley. Then no, it's not because he's coming into the pit lane. Goodness me, that was a bit fast then, and I thought he was going to go and have a bit of a problem there, but thankfully not. Then Wild also into the pits as well. Then where is Nigel? Nigel's coming to Nigel's harvesting then. So harvesting is the battery. They're not using it up just yet then for the kick salve, sorry, as we head on to the back straight for Mr. Elite. Then Mr. Elite looking to improve on P12 here. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do. Not a lot of ERS to play with. Then up to the line. Then DRS available then for the McLaren, heading up to the line now for Mr. Elite. It's not going into, it's coming in pit lane, never mind, ignore that. So there we go then. Where is Kaidel then? Kaidel down to P17, coming back to the pits as well. So quite a few quite a few drivers then giving up on that lap, then making sure they get themselves back into the pit lane in time to go again then for one more final outing then to set the grid here for qualifying, or set the grid, sorry, here for the race actually. That's what usually qualifying is about, as we go through into the latter part of the lap. Then where is the Racing Bull then of Speed Kai? Then Farf is also out on track going through into the middle sector, but he's not used much battery then on this lap. So there we go then. Here comes Speed Kai then up to the line. What can he do on his first outing? Nothing. Unfortunately, he's at the pit lane, so he has to go back round again then. Once we'll have to find out he's on an out lap then. As far I didn't see that, he was on a lap then. Never mind. Ignore me. Right then, Beast coming into the pits as well. Then Gordo coming back to the pits at the same time. Gordo up into P5. Then I missed that completely, but he's on a 38.9. Then puts himself into the higher echelons of the points pay positions. Astrojon has improved, I think, then to a P15. And we'll go back round once again. Then I think he might just about have time. If he can get himself around this in-lap very quickly, he might just about have some time then to get himself back out on track for one more final run in qualifying here. Right then. Only a few drivers out on track now. Then it's gone to a bit of a lull now before the final shenanigans, let's just say. Wild then back out on track. Then Kamara Racer also back out on track, I should say. Then Farf then just starting his lap. Then let's have a look and see what Farf is up to. Farf is going for it now, and we'll stay on board then with the Racing Bull to see what his first and only time in qualifying is going to be then for Farf. And we go through them. Great stuff from Wild then, says Ginger 8 in the comment section. Yes, it is good stuff. I thought Farf was going to go straight into the wall then, but he's managed to correct it just in time, and only just give it a red love tap, a love kiss. Oh, goodness me. Right then, heading into turn 3 now for the Racing Bull of Farf. Let's see what he can do in sector 2 now. This is where it's going to get dicey indeed. It's a left and a right and a right and a left and a left and more rights and lefts and that sort of stuff. There we go then. If you don't know your left and right, you're going to have a problem racing around Baku. I'll just have to say that then, as we go into sector 2 now for the Racing Bull driver then of Farf, then heading through into the treacherous castle section. This is where it gets spicy indeed. If you want to get the maximum out of your lap time, you have to go very fast through there, but he's I think he's just let off a little bit then. He's not used much ERS as well then, so on this lap, so he's decided not to burn any ERS on this one either then. We just turned it on now, so there we go. So I think it's a bit too late then, unfortunately, for Farf. Unless he's going to do a fantastic final sector then and blow everybody's times out of the water, then we'll have to wait and see. It could be the case that it might have been actually a very tactical play then. He's gone purple in sector 2. Vessi has been disqualified for parking in the dangerous location. And where is he? He's coming out of the pit lane there, is Vessi. He's had a crash as well. That front wing is missing, and as Speed Kai has also been disqualified as well then. Fantastic. And hopefully that car gets out of the way then of the other cars coming through then, because my goodness me, that is I think they're all on out laps then. Here comes Farf. Then Farf's done a 40.1, then puts himself P14 on his one and only lap then in qualifying here tonight then. So yeah, interesting stuff indeed. Farf is washed, says Farf. Says Ginger Age, sorry. Of course, Ginger Age is definitely not washed. He's literally definitely not washed. As we go through, and I think Jay Hings is a bit unhappy with somebody behind him there, because he, I think, that's Vessia's car. Is Vessia's car still driving around there? That is ridiculous. What is going on then for this in this qualifying session? Vessia's car is definitely still driving around, because it's not hard to beat. It's Vessia's disqualified car that hasn't even got himself parked up and out of the way yet. Jay Hings, I think, was a bit unhappy with somebody then in the first outing of that first part of that lap then. Potentially that Racing Bull then. We'll have to wait and see. It's not, maybe it was Farf, but I don't think it, maybe it was, I don't know who it was. Never mind then, but yes, we will have to come back to that one then. We'll have to see what is going on further up the order, as we've got some lap times underway then. Yellow flag then for a McLaren. Kiki then about to start off a lap here as well then. They're running out of time to get themselves to the line then as well then for this start of the lap. I thought there was more overtaking going on there, but my goodness me, then this is definitely not where you want to be then in this lap as well. Then here we go there for Jay Hings, and can he make it to the line? Then he's only got a few seconds now, and this could get a bit dicey indeed. Then as we get to the checkered flag, then will Jay Hings be able to start off a lap? Then we can't tell because of the yellow flags, but I think the checker flag has fallen. He has got himself underway just in time then. Brilliant stuff indeed. Brilliant timing indeed from Jay Hings then. Fantastic. Kamara Racer then is done and dusted. P6 at best for him. Then Astrodron the same then, as Plotters has retired. Where is he retired, though? That is the question. Wild has abandoned his lap then, as Wild was done. Wild was done in qualifying here. That is him done and dusted in qualifying. P2 at best for him. Then Kaido unfortunately has invalidated his time. Then can he improve then even further, though? It's a 40.2. Then would have put him into the ranges then of the top 13 or so. Potentially. Lewis Riley's jumped up the order then into P10. Was he? How has he done that? No, it's Flippy. Oh, it's 300p, sorry. He's jumped up to P8 then in the Alpine. Good stuff indeed. Then where's the next car then? It is the Haas of Lewis Riley heading up to the start-finish line for the final time then in qualifying here. And let's see where the Haas will go to then, up from P10 to P5. Brilliant stuff indeed then. A half a second improvement. Beast has gone fastest with a 38.2 in the Mercedes. Fantastic from him. Where is R2B then? Where is R2B? R2B up, it stays P13 for the time being then. Good stuff indeed. Here comes Nigel then. Nigel up to the line. What can Nigel do? Nigel P5. Brilliant stuff from the Kick Sauber team. As we got an Alpine of Flippy. Then Flippy stays P10, sorry. Very good stuff indeed. Then where is the next Red Bull then? There's a Red Bull. Oh, it's Astrojon. He's finished his lap then. Good stuff indeed. Gordo then has Kamara races up into P8. Then here comes Gordo. Gordo P5 displaces Nigel down the order. Who is next across the line? Though I can't quite tell. I think it's Jay Hings then. We'll come back to it. Come back to anybody else. Then Jay Hings then next across the line. Can he get himself in the top 10 here? Jay Hings. It's P9 displaces both the Alpines down a spot as well. Then brilliant stuff indeed from Jay Hings up into the top 10, up into the top 9. Then brilliant stuff from him. Then Wild then next to coming across the line, but unfortunately has abandoned his time and coming back into the pit lane now. So that is qualifying done and dusted. Then once again the championship leader has pulled it out of the bag in qualifying. He is on pole position here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Wild, somebody has said Wild then with a strong emoji then, and Vesia AI will get pole, says Mushroom. Then unfortunately did not. There we are then. Beast is on pole position then on the front row once again for the championship leader. Then Plotters with a fantastic lap indeed as well. Then P2, first front row of the season I think for Plotters. Wild then in P3 on his debut. Then Kiki P4, Gordo P5, Nigel P6, Lewis Riley then P7, Kamara Racer then P8, Jay Hings P9, and Sweet MJP rounds off the top 10. Then Flippy then P11, Mr. Elite P12, Reflection P13, R2 P14, Valve P15, Astrojon P16, Moomin in P17, Kaido P18, Vesia, and unfortunately for Speed Car as well, then both of them disqualified from the qualifying for various shenanigans there. Right then, we'll have a quick word from our lovely sponsors and we'll be back soon. Here we go then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Qualifying is done then. We've got 26 laps of action here to unfold, and it's going to be action-packed, I assume, because it is Azerbaijan, of course. We will start off then with the tyre situations then for all the drivers then on the grid then, and we have got a majority going for the medium compound tyre. 18 drivers then starting on the medium compound tyre then for the beginning of this race. There's Aston Martin having a bit of a problem then out of turn 1. Fingers crossed that they can all behave themselves then in this race as well. Then, like I said, it's a very tense affair then in Baku, and of course everyone is riding very tensions are riding high, I should say. Then, especially when you're so close to the walls then for the majority of the lap as well. Then, here we go then through the formation lap. Then we'll start off then with well, we won't need to go through the tyres really because they've got only two different tyres then for the rest of the field, and that is Moomin then on the hards then in P17 in the Haas. He is behind Farf, then he's also on the hard compound tyres in P15 on the hard compound tyres as well then. So everybody else then, apart from the Racing Ball of Favre and the Haas of Moomin, are on the medium compound tyres. So that is going to be interesting to see how those on the mediums or those on the hards are actually fare compared to the rest of the field. Then we'll find out then in just a few moments time then, as we get ourselves through the formation lap, and hopefully nobody crashes in the castle section on the formation lap as well. Has been known to happen. Dylan has said, good evening, and good evening to you, sir. Of course, Dylan get a fantastic result then last night then in gold. Best result of the season then for Dylan in the McLaren. And it was P5, I believe it was in the end, and absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. Then my abilities then was not good enough to get himself anywhere near. So well done to Dylan as well then for that P5 yesterday evening. Dylan from Mushroom. Another Mercedes pole. It's like 2016 all over again, says Ginger Age. And well, isn't it just? Flippy's had a problem somewhere. He's been disqualified from the formation lap then. He's parked on the grid already. But we are waiting for the rest of the field then to catch himself up and then get themselves onto the grid as well. As there we go then down the main straight, just weaving to get those tyre temperatures up then before the start of the race then. Oh dear, someone's had a bit of a problem then. I think it was just me, hopefully. But there we go then, lining up on the grid then for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix coming up very soon. Lucky P5, says Dylan. Well, it's not luck then. It's just abilities and skill, and I don't have any of that, so that's why I don't finish in the points. So there we go. But well done indeed then to Dylan, of course, then, and of course promoted from silver as well last season. So he's done a good job then getting himself some fantastic results in gold as well. Then, like I said, we've had a few. I think Sean was talking about it on the stream last night in gold as well. Then there was a couple of drivers who come up who had a bit of a starter season then in gold, and then have really kicked on. The likes of B Rabbit then comes to mind. But we'll cross that list off. We'll cross that list off. As Speak has been disqualified from parking in a dangerous location, and where's the we hope, yeah, there we go. That's good. Right then, I can't tell what's going on because I'm so far away. 5 red lights are on here in Baku. 5 red lights are off then, and what's happened to plotters? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. What has gone on there? What is happening then? What is going on for plotters then? He's just taken out. Oh my God. And there's more problems there into turn 2. I'm not quite sure what's happening here, to be honest. I don't think Plotters is even in the car. This is very odd. So there's a problem. Okay, yes. Good start from Gordo. So he's up into P3. There's the yellow flags at turn 2, but there's nobody there. Plotter's napping, says Mushroom. I think you can definitely say that was napping. I'm not quite sure what was happening then. This is. I'm not. Is there a restart? I don't know. We'll carry on then, because as far as we know, it's just cracking on as we are. Okay, Beast leads the way then. He's got a 1 second gap already into Gordon, then he's P2. Nigel then P3. Kiki has stayed in position. Then Wilds had a problem then on this start. Plotters has left the session, and I think that was. Well, I think that was the cause of all the shenanigans then at the race start then. So that is why we've had whatever happened there. But we're carrying on as far as I can tell. So there we go. Right then. Kamara Race is up 2 places. Then Lewis Riley's status quo. Then Flippy's up 3 places as well. Plotters has dropped down 3 places. Then Catboy Kai has Speed Kai has jumped up to P14 from the back of the grid. Then Moomin then up 4 places as well. Then Beast then sets the fastest lap of the race. Then in the what's happened as Plotters is lost out to what's happening? Goodness me, I really don't know what is going on here. Have we got any pit stops then? We've got pit stops then for Mr. Elite and Astra John, and they're into the box now then to sort out, I think that's wing damage for both of them as well. Then yes, there's an end plate missing for the McLaren, and the same for the Red Bull as well. It looks like then Sweet MVP is back in the pits as well, or into the pits I should say, sorry, as well, and I think it's got damage to sort out also. So there's all sorts of damage for both McLarens as well, and McLaren double stacking with the damage as well. It's horrible news indeed for them, and hopefully there's a safety car to bring them back into contention in this race then, which there may well be around here. Potsdam said, come on, kick Sauber. Then he's supporting both the green machines. Nigel doing a good job then, P4, sorry, I should say, and setting himself back underway then. Gordo is trying to hold on then to the Ultimate Beast. Then Kiki's up into P3 then, and now trying to challenge then, trying to get himself into that DRS window, but he's being held back, not really held back, he's being put under pressure, I should say, goodness me, by Nigel and Wild. Then both the kick Saubers then looking strong in this opening stage of the race, I should say. Goodness me, I'm not sure where I am now after that start. I can't keep up with it all. But yes, so far we've not had anything. We've not heard anything, I should say then, so we're going to just have to crack on then. I'm not sure if Smithy's fallen asleep or not, but there we are then, so fair enough. Here comes Gordo then onto the start-finish straight then. Can he get himself into the race lead onto lap 3? Then he's got the DRS open then. He's going for the move. He's got the move done, I believe. Yes, he has then. Up into the race lead then for the Aston Martin of Gordo. Very good stuff indeed then from the Challenger, of course, and he's currently P3 in the standing. Nigel and Wild then. Oh dear, what's going on there between the Kick Saubers as well? They're not working together very well then for Kick Sauber then. Oh my god, he's gone down the inside at turn 2, and I think Nigel was very aware of that, but not quite sure what the strategy was then for the as we're migrating host. Then I think we might lobby restart. We're having a lobby restart here, so we're going to have to get ourselves back underway then. We're going to have a restart then for this race then. Hopefully all the let the reserves know as well then, of course, in the Discord, if you can, please, people. Make sure that everybody is aware. Then we've got Wild, we've got Lewis Riley, we've got Flippy, we've got Moomin, we've got Catboy Kai, Speed Kai, Astrid John then, and some more as well. I think then we're going to have to back out then of this race then. And so far everyone's carrying on, so I'm not sure what is going on out here. But it is a lobby restart then, so we will get ourselves back underway then very shortly then, hopefully. So. But nobody's listening then to the likes of Smithy right now. Then it looks like so. He needs to make sure that he's tagged everybody in the server, because this is just cracking on as it is. Then Nigel's running the wall then, but I don't think he'll mind, because it's going to be a lobby restart anyway. Then I'm just going to leave this, I think, because nobody's actually doing anything. Speed Kai's got a 10-second penalty for corner cutting then, and I think we'll just leave the session here, because we will not have to condone any behaviour like that, and then we'll get ourselves ready then to get into the restarted lobby, and we'll be back underway very shortly indeed then. But whilst we were, I've already talked about what I had for my tea, but if you hadn't heard, it's a pot noodle for me, or I've already had it, but there we go then. Tell us what you had for your tea then in the meantime, whilst we get the lobby restarted, and we can crack on then with the race once again then. It won't be too long. We'll get ourselves back underway very shortly, and we can crack on then for the Grand Prix itself. But in the meantime, then tell us all about Baku, and then what's your favorite corners at Baku? Then I have to say the castle section is absolutely amazing, and I would be right. So there we go then. Why does it not let me join? Okay, this is fantastic, isn't it? Can I join, please? Yes, I can. Thank you very much, and we can get ourselves back into the lobby. I will just send a quick invitation out to those who are reserving as well, and just make sure that everybody can get themselves back into the session. We got Moomin as well, Lewis Riley. There's going to be too many reserves, and I'm not going to be able to get them all in. Catboy Kai, we've got where is he? Yeah, we got him as well then. Good stuff indeed. Right then, yes, whilst we're just going to have to bear with at the moment for the time being, and get ourselves sorted then to start off this race. And one time I have a good start, says Gordo. It was fajitas for me, says Gordo. Well, then fajitas are fantastic. I do love a fajita. A bit of chicken, a bit of pepper, and a bit of cheese on top, and wrap it all up then and have a go. Very good stuff indeed. I had a chippy, he says, mushroom as well then. Fantastic. Both of you guys have blown the pot noodle out of the water then. So fair play. Well done indeed. And we got ourselves back underway then, hopefully very soon. Hopefully we turn the qualifying off then, if people can tell Smithy to turn the qualifying off then, because I don't want to do that again. We've got the grid sorted already then. I had a chocolate Santa, says Ginger Age. Then, my goodness me, then that is pretty good stuff indeed. Then from Ginger Age, that'll be very tasty indeed. Plotter said completely desynced. Apologies to everyone who affected. And yes, it looked well, it looks like you just didn't go on the start lights there. So everybody who was behind you had a bit of a problem trying to negotiate that stricken Red Bull. Let's just say then. To be fair, if a Red Bull doesn't, if a car doesn't start on the grid, then most of the drivers are pretty good at getting themselves around it. Then and not getting involved in. But of course, in league racing, it's a bit more difficult, isn't it? Right then, we'll get ourselves started in this in the next few moments or so. Hopefully, the weather can be sorted as well. Then it looked like it was a nice dry start to the race, but we do not want to be going into a new lobby then without any weather, or with the weather conditions being different. Let's just put it that way, as we're waiting for the last couple of people to jump into the lobby as well, and we can crack on. Chocolate Santa is a year old almost. Luke has said that I had a delightful Spoons pizza. Then brilliant stuff indeed. And yeah, like I said, it's well, it sounds like everyone's had a much better dinner than I have had. So fantastic stuff from you guys. Then well done indeed for putting on a fantastic spread for your Monday evening dinner. Then as well. Just waiting for Gordo, Moomin, and Vessier to get themselves in the cars, and we can hopefully crack on then for the start of this restart of this race, I should say. Lewis Riley's just jumped in as well. Then. So only missing a couple of drivers as well here. But there we go then. Astrodron said getting an error code then. Astra, then if you just restart your game, then you'll be fine and you'll be able to get yourself back in. And we can crack on then for the restart of the race. And Smithy just said lobby restart, but unfortunately he's a bit too late because they're already most of them are already in the lobby then. So here we go then. We'll get ourselves restarted hopefully soon. Somebody needs to tell Smithy to change the weather then, because it was sunny then for the race, because I don't want it to rain in this race now, because that would be pretty horrible stuff for the drivers, and who've just prepared then for a nice and sunny Grand Prix. There we go then. Farf probably got his tree up then already. And there we go then, good stuff. Right then, once again, Kamara Racer and Moomin now have got problems, it looks like, with their lobbies. Astrodron is back in the session then. We're missing one more person, so that's fantastic. And hopefully we can get ourselves restarted. And who we're missing? Let's name and shame them, shall we? It's Mr. Elite then, goodness me. And he's probably racing on his own then in that 26 laps of Baku as it is, I should say. Then we'll let's send him an invite, shall we? Find him on our Mr. Elite then. Where is he? There he is, and we'll send him an invite now. And hopefully he can join. Yes, he can join. Here he is. Fantastic stuff indeed. And yes, remember setups, says Gordo. So yeah, of course, everybody remember your setups then for the start of the race. Then we'll have a bit of a pause then between loading in then and getting the race back underway. Setups, says Mushroom as well then. Brilliant stuff indeed. And yes, hopefully we can get ourselves cracking then for the restart of this race then. If anybody is listening to the to the stream, please tell Smithy to change the weather to sunny in the Discord. He has not changed it yet then, so I just want to make sure that it is done before we start this race. Yes, otherwise I'm going to start panicking because it's going to start raining, isn't it? I guarantee it if we restart this race. But there we are then. I would recommend Farf sticks that tree where the sun doesn't shine, says Ginger Rage. Goodness me, how rude. I know for a fact that after saying that, I'll forget my setup, says Gordo as well then. Brilliant stuff indeed. Well, he was the one who warned us all then. And we've got lobby updating now as well then, so hopefully it will be only a few minutes or so before we get ourselves back underway. Oh my goodness me, the sun is changing. The sun is out then in Baku, and there we go. It is out then as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. Fingers crossed we'll be ready to get ourselves going then in just a few moments time then, and that we can get ourselves cracking then for the actual Grand Prix itself. But this is going to be dragging on for a bit then until we can get... Oh, we've got somebody left. Brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Well, that's fantastic. It's a Red Bull then of Plotters. So Plotters has had a problem once again then and lagged out of the session. So bear with us one second whilst we get him back, and hopefully one day we can get a start on this race itself. But at the moment we're not. We're just hanging on then as we get ourselves sorted, and hopefully, like I said, one day we can get ourselves underway. But we are now having to wait for Plotters to get his internet sorted. Yeah, there we go. Right then, lobby updated, but unfortunately Plotters has not been able to get himself back in the lobby, so let's send him another invite as well, shall we? Let's just send invites to everybody. Plotters, where are you? There you go. He's not there. He's already in, apparently. There he is. Oh, he's back then. Good stuff indeed. Right, now we've got 20 drivers on the grid. I think Smithy's going to have to sort the grid out again then, because Plotters is backed out and backed in again. Yes, okay. Well, we'll see what happens now. Right then, we're already going, it looks like, so okay, we'll crack on with the start of the race then, and we will see what the order is going to be looking like then, because hopefully with Plotters joining back then and already readying up then, everyone has remembered to get their setups sorted, get your setups on, then when you get into the lobby, get your setups on. Gordo, I'm talking to you, get your setup on then when you start the race. Before you start the race, actually, would be helpful, and there we go then, loading in now, and of course we can go straight into the race itself. Then the grid is already set from qualifying, and we will crack on with the Grand Prix itself then, so stay tuned. We'll have a formation lap once again then. We'll have to see if anybody's going to change their strategies then, change the tune then in this race as well. Ginger Raider said Gordo setup. I think that's quite self-explanatory. So don't forget your setups, guys. Make sure you've got everything loaded and back to the ways you want it for the start of this Grand Prix. Of course, we had the formation lap as well. Then once again to get ourselves familiarised with the track. So 2 formation laps around here. Fantastic stuff indeed. And then we can crack on then with the Grand Prix itself. Then. Alex setup then, says Sean. Unfortunately, Sean, I can't load my setup. Then I am in the waiting room, waiting for players at the moment. So I can't wait. I can't wait to load the setup. Then I can't load the setup. I have to wait for the race to start and then commentate on that. So there we go. Then cheers, Sean, says Gordo as well. Then so I think he's realised and remembered to load the setup this time as well. Then hopefully everyone else remembers as well, because yes, it could be quite difficult driving around here with a default setup, I would imagine. Well, I wouldn't know. So there we go. Plotters, go on the light, says Mushroom. That sounds a bit like he's going into the light. Don't go into the light, Plotters. It is not your time. So stay about then for a bit longer. Then hopefully the race will start then in a few moments' time then, and we can crack on then with this Grand Prix as well then. But do not go into the light then. And I think he says go on the Mushroom meant go on the light then. When the red lights come on, when they go off, that's when you go. And hopefully this time we can get ourselves through without any issues. Setup has been put on, says Gordo. Fantastic stuff indeed. That's one driver at least has got a setup on. So that's helpful. And there we go then. Hopefully we can crack on then with this race. I think there's a bit of a pause then whilst everyone makes sure they get their setups all loaded comfortably. And everybody is in a good spot then to start off the Grand Prix as well. Then Plotters is at the back of the field. Yes, well, man, I did warn them, I promise. So there we go then. Right then, same thing again then, medium compound tyres for the rest of the field, apart from Favre and Moomin, who have gained a spot then, with Plotters being demoted down to the back of the order. Brilliant stuff indeed. Setup has been put on. Ginger Raider said, is it the right setup? And Gordo said, it is indeed. Put it on twice to be sure. So he's got double the downforce now. Has Gordo, as Astra John has been disqualified then for a problem then on the formation lap as well. Then, goodness me, then it's not going well then for people on formation laps tonight. But there we go. So we can get ourselves started now. And once again, there's nothing much to talk about on the formation lap because everyone has chosen the medium compound tyre. Then, apart from Favre and Moomin, once again the only ones who have chosen the Contra strategy then here tonight at the start of this Grand Prix, the second start of this Grand Prix. But of course, this is the actual one. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't do another restart, but we'll have to wait and see. Plotters then has been put at the back of the grid then, which is we're still having a bit of a problem. Looks like with his internet, but we've been put at the back of the grid by Smithy then for ruining the first lobby then. So that is horrible stuff indeed from Plotters. Yes, I'm not sure what's... well, there we go. Yeah, it would have been helpful then to put him back at P2, where of course he did qualify then, but unfortunately then not the case. He'll be starting from the back of the field then. So, but fair play to Plotters. I think he's accepted it and he's just going to get on with it and do his best. And hopefully we'll see him further up the order then in this at the end of this race as well. Then, so my candidate for driver of the day already then, if he can get himself through the field, is Plotters. So very early call then before lap 1 even starts. Then brilliant stuff indeed. Right then, once again we line ourselves up on the grid. Harsh to demote plotters, says Ginger Rage then. Poor plotters, says Gordo as well then. Yes, so we stand for plotters. Oh dear, Beastie's had a bit of a problem with the wall then. Yes, we stand with plotters then. Justice for plotters and all of that. So, good stuff. Right then, hopefully we can get ourselves a Grand Prix race coming up now, and fingers crossed we can get ourselves through 26 laps of it then before I go to bed, and we get ourselves lined up on the grid once again then. Once again, there's people who don't know how to park on the grid, and both of them are the pole sitters. They're Beast and Wild. Well, it would have been plotters then, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, Smithy has said no to him, so there we go. Literally crashed into the back of me on a formation lap, says Astrojon. Oh dear, so he's not happy. Oh dear, not a happy chappy then. Here we go then, 5 red lights coming on here in Baku. Once again then, the 5 red lights are on, the 5 red lights are off, and away we go then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix of Silver Season 8. And into turn 1, oh dear, into turn 1, as Plotters has retired, and oh my god, what is going on here? And there's more problems at the back of the field. I don't understand what is actually... What is actually happening here? I'm so lost. I'm really confused what is happening here. Mr. Elite is more yellow flags. It's Kaidel this time. Kaidel at turn 4. Oh God, I have no idea what's going on here. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to. I think I'm not sure. Plotters is out, but I don't know. He retired before like the start-finish lights had even finished, I think. But Reflections had a problem at turn 1, and he's still got his front wing intact though. Kaidel's lost an end plate. Vessia is past. I'm just completely lost, to be fair. Right then, at the top of the order, we've got Beast, Kiki, Gordo, Wild. Wild's lost 2 places then on that start and dropped down then to P4. Then Nigel in P5. Looking for a good start once again then in his second attempt. Kamara Racer's gained a place then. Flippy up 3 places then into P7. Jay Hings P8 then. Mr. Elite P9. Good stuff indeed from him on the start as well then. Sweet MP has lost out a place then to Mr. Elite. Then Astrojon is up 4 places. Then Catboy Kai is up 7 places here into P12. And yes, once again then. God knows what is happening, to be honest. Kaidel was into the pits, so unfortunately Kaidel has had a bit of a difficult start twice now tonight, and yeah, I'm not sure what is happening. Then it seems like people having a bit of a problem then into turn 1 on the first lap. It looks like Astrojon and Speed Kai are switching places then into turn 3. Then Flippy and Jay Hings. Jay Hings has got himself through, passing the Alpine up into P7 for Jay Hings. Can he get himself back into DRS contention with Kamara Racer and at the kick salvers here? Then Nigel's lost out then to the 1 second window of Gordo. Gordo's doing a great job then, holding on to the Mercedes pair as we go through into sector 2 of the castle section now, and heading up the hill. Then this is where it gets treacherous indeed. Then at full speed going through there. Then it's very difficult stuff indeed, but they managed it very nicely indeed as well. Good stuff. Paul Bloke says, pot stuff, not your day today, mate. And unfortunately for Plotters, he is out of the race. Then we've got a problem then for Lewis Riley, who's had an issue somewhere as well. Then at the top of the hill, then into the castle section. I think he's lost some wing there. And yes, I think he has then. I think he's lost the whole of the wing then as well. Goodness me, that is bad news indeed. Oh, God, trying to go through there at full pace then without a front wing is going to be dangerous. Let's just say that at the least. And thankfully, he has got himself through and hope he can get himself back into the pit lane and sort that out. And we can crack on then for his race. Then, like I said, I think a few drivers already hoping for a safety car here. Gordo is trying to keep up with the Mercedes. Then they've lost out to Beast slightly. Wild has got himself past his teammate. Then now trying to drag Nigel along then in this race. Then Wild trying to get himself back up into contention here. Mr. Elite has got himself past Flippy. Then, oh dear, what's going on then in the background? Then both the Alpines having a bit of a fight. Then it looks like no team orders down at Alpine, it seems. We've had a lot of tyre smoke into turn 1 but I think everyone's got themselves through unscathed. Lewis Riley into the pits to sort out that front wing now, and unfortunately then for Kydell, Reflection and Lewis Riley, all three of them had difficult starts, and of course Plotters as well hasn't been able to take the start then twice now, unfortunately as well, which is a big shame indeed, because he was doing pretty well in qualifying, and unfortunately it has unravelled then here in the race, or in both races here tonight on the start as well, then before the start finish line, before the first turn as well then, which is ridiculous stuff indeed, and hopefully it is just a blip then for Plotters then, who's done a fantastic job in qualifying here tonight, but unfortunately out of the race then before turn 1 with his internet issues as well. Well, it's silver, that's what's happening, says Mushroom. 3 races Baku is not good for Blimey O'Reilly, says Mushroom as well. Right then, to be fair, like I said, it is a race of attrition then in Baku, isn't it? As we go through onto lap 4 very shortly, but yeah, trying to hold on then to the DRS then is paramount then in this race, as well as we got 2 DRS zones around here to try and keep yourself in contention. Then Nigel and Wild then are going to be in a bit of a battle then between themselves then for P4. They've lost out by 2.3 seconds to the top 3 here as we go down to lap 4 now. Then here comes Kiki challenging for the race lead, then passing his teammate Beast up into P1 now and takes the lead into turn 1 now, on to lap 4 here as well. Then good stuff indeed from Kiki, and now the change in the order then for the change in the order for the Mercedes. Then is there going to be a change in the order for the kick Sauers as well here? Let's see. We'll come back to that, because I think Gordo might be looking to challenge and down towards turn 3. Then here comes Beast trying to get himself back past his teammate. Is he down towards turn 3 as well? He stays behind for the time being, that is. Moomin has had a problem then. Moomin is into the pit lane as well. Then both the Haas is struggling at the opening stages of this Grand Prix. Gordo then is up into P3 trying to hold on then to the Mercedes pair. Then they've held themselves up a bit slightly. Then that's going to be bringing Gordo back into contention here. Wild then 3 seconds back. Then Nigel P5 stays P5. Then Kamara Racer up 1 place, then up into P6 now for the Williams driver. Jay Hing has gained a place as well. Then he's in this queue right behind the kick Sabers as well. Then Mr. Elite then trying to get himself up into the DRS window then of the challenging pack, I should say, then further ahead. And there he is then into the castle section now. Then can he catch up then through here? Flicking that car in the back and looking to step out. There's an Alpine who's clipped the wall then. I think that might have been 300p then, or Flippy. Which one is it? I don't know. I can't tell. They're too close together. So there we go then. R2B has had a problem then. R2B has lost the right end plate then of his Ferrari, and he is now 5 seconds behind P12 here, which is not where he wants to be then in this Grand Prix, unfortunately. At this stage, of course, there is still plenty of laps to go then, unfortunately, because we had to do a restart. So there's still plenty of laps to go then, and we will see then if the safety cars might start to appear then in this race. Then when concentration starts to lapse, safety cars start to appear. And that is that. And 1 race is enough for me then around here, says Ginger Age. Can confirm the Mercs are working together, says Mushroom as well. Well, at the moment they are staying status quo then, P1 and P2 for the time being. Then Gordo just waiting in the wings. There behind us is the kick Sabers coming through turn 1 as well. Then there's Wild in P4, Nigel in P5, then Kamara Racer in P6, then kick Sauber, Aston Martin of Jay Higgs, the other green car, is in P7 now. Mr. Leach 2 seconds back, then Swing Pete and Flippy and Catboy Kai are trying to battle then here down the straight then towards turn 3, and Catboy Kai has slotted into the slipstream here. Is he going to go for a move into turn 3? Not quite. He stays behind for now. And we've got more action than as Kydell as we pass by Lewis Riley, then down towards the start-finish line. Sorry, I couldn't see where they were. They are back, and Moomin's back in the pit lane here. So unfortunately for Moomin, he's back into the pits as well. Then RTB and Vessia then has switched places. Then Farf has gone through as well. And my goodness me, what a lunge that is. That is definitely a lunging move. And they've caught themselves together. And that is bad news indeed for both drivers, that is. And they have got themselves back underway then, but have lost an abundance amount of time there. And unfortunately, I don't think it was, well, I'm just going to say I don't think the move was on there, but that is usually the case then in that sort of section, that sort of part of the track then, when you're trying to go side by side through there. Moomin is back out then onto a fresh set of medium compound tyres and a fresh wing as well. Right then, we've got soft compound tyres on Kydell as we go through onto lap 5 now. Of course, he has had to make a pit stop then, an unscheduled pit stop as well then for the McLaren. Gordo has got some pace lately as well, then says Mushroom. And Gordo has been watching my technique in 100%, says Ginger Rage. I don't think that's the case. Right then, Jay Hings has passed Kamara Racer, then 4P6 now. And trying to chase down the kick salvage. We've got themselves a bit of a margin now. Mr. Reek's been passed by the Alpine of Sweet MJP, then in towards turn 1, up into P8 now as well, then for them. Both the Mercedes will switch places. Then Beast is back up into the race lead, then down towards turn 3. Then Kiki then has got himself out of the way, then I think, of his teammate, and Gordo has dropped out of the DRS range, and Mr. Beat, Artie Beat, sorry, is into the pit lane, and so Artie Beat's going to try and fix that front wing damage here, and potentially hard compound tyres to the end of the race then from here could be possible. We'll have to wait and see. Then Mr. Elite's back past Sweet MJP then for P8, then he's got himself up ahead, then into turn 3, then now through turn 4. He's trying to starting to form a bit of a queue here behind him, but trying to catch up to Kamara Racer and Jay Hings at the same time. Then this quartet then is starting to spread out a bit now, and Farf and Vess here have switched places. Then Farf has now been passed then by the Ferrari into turn 3. There's wing damage then for Farf. And my goodness me, then Kaidel, sorry, not Kaidel, then it's RTP coming out the pit lane, then down to P18 unfortunately, but now onto fresh hard compound tyres, looking to see what he can do, then get himself back into this race as well then from here. Potentially, like I said, could go to the end from there on the hard compound tyres. We'll have to wait and see if that's doable or not. Out in front, then Kiki is trying to stretch his legs. Then look at him go. Kiki is sprinting off into the distance here, and will he get himself out of that 1 second window with his teammates of Beast? Then through the kinks, then through the final kinks then of the lap. Then that is where Sean gets very kinky indeed. But now heading down the main straight, then DRS then is going to be available then for Beast. But will Gordo go for the move regardless? And here he goes, and down the inside, then down the main straight. Gordo then trying to split the Mercedes pair, and has he done it? Yes, he has. Then up into P2 for Gordo. Brilliant stuff indeed then. And now trying to challenge for the race lead once again, then like he did on the previous lobby. So he goes through turn 2, there's contact, and there's more contact, and goodness me, Gordo. Oh my. That has cost them both a lot of time there. And yes, that was a very dodgy stuff indeed then, and unfortunately has dropped them out the 1 second window then of the race leader of Kiki, who's looking very strong now in this part of the lap as well. Then brilliant stuff indeed. Then 4 seconds back is Wild. Nigel then putting the pressure on his team, and then Jay Hings now waiting the wings. Then they've lost out to, well, Kamara Racers lost out to those 3 ahead of him, sorry. Mr. Elite then holding off the pack behind as well. Then Speed Kai and Astra John then are fighting side by side then into sector 2. Then this is where it's going to get dicey indeed, and round the outside, down the inside, sorry, goes Speed Kai, and up into P11, and Farf has got himself back past Vessia here, even with that wing damage, and he is powering on then on the hard compound tyres in the racing ball, currently 15 seconds off P12 then after all the shenanigans that have gone on between the two of them, and they've been caught then by, well, they haven't been caught just yet then, but Lewis Riley, RTB Kaidel, and Moomin then are going to try and get themselves back into this race as well then. Out in front, 1.4 seconds the gap then, so Beast then has done a great job of, Kiki's done a great job, of getting himself a gap then of over a second then as we go onto the main straight for the 7th time to finish off lap 7 as well here. Into the pits comes Moomin, then he's having another problem then, it looks like in the Haas car then, another change of wing or another change of strategy, and what's it going to be? It is a wing change then for Moomin onto the soft compound tyres. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a lap down unless they can sort that front wing out pretty quickly. Here comes Gordo. Gordo's back past Beast, then up into P2 once again then as we go through into turn 1, but they've lost out a lot of time then to Kiki. Out of the pits there comes Moomin as well. And we did see somebody else change position as well then. I'm not quite sure it was far from Vessia probably. And it's Speed Kai and Flippy potentially as well. Then here we go then, the battle for the final points paying position here as we go into turn 2 now. And of course we're looking to see how it's going to fare then for these two drivers as well. Then out in front, Gordo's now got a 2-second gap then to the race leader. I'm not quite sure if you think he's being held up then by that ghost car, but all we do is he's slipping himself through turn 3 and 4 I should say then, and that is not going to be good for his tyres as well then. Speed Car then has got himself past, has he, round the outside of turn 4 then in the sector 2. Has he got it done? Where is he? There he is. Yes, he has done. Up into P10 now as Vess here has passed Farf then into turn 3, and these two carrying on their fight as it has been going on for the first few laps as well then. Lap 8 then of 26 then. We are almost at the 3rd waypoint then of this Grand Prix. So far so good then. Kiki, do you love me, says Mushroom then. Wall riding, it says mushroom. Wall riding mushroom, says Ginger Age. Goodness me, that will be interesting as we go into the castle section now. But let's have a look and see where the rest of the fighting is going on. Then 4 seconds now, the gap then between the top 3 and Wild. That gap has come down. Then it was over 3 seconds, I should say. It was over 4 seconds at one point. So Wild is now starting to get himself on the money, then on the power, then, and Nigel having a bit of a problem then out of there, has cost himself the DRS, I think, then to his teammate, which might open the door now for Jay Hings to make an attack then as we go onto the main straight once again. Then 1.7 seconds the gap, then Beast trying to get himself through, then Jay Hings has passed Nigel, then down the main straight up into P5 now for him. Yellow flags fluttering for somebody. It's a problem then for a McLaren, then a McLaren of Kydell then in the castle section. He's had another issue then, unfortunately, as Kydell. Kamara Racer is in the pit lane, and is this a strategy call, or is this a wing change then for Kamara Racer as well? Then goodness me, we can't tell really in Baku, can we, until they've come into the pit lane. It is strategic then for Kamara. He's gone onto the hard compound tyres and potentially looking for an undercut then at this stage of the race. Then where will he come out? Goodness me, he needs to make sure he gets himself out before Farf, ahead of Farf, I should say. Then it's going to be close indeed, and he has done it just about. Then this is going to get tight indeed as well now for Kamara Racer. And can he stay ahead of Farf then in towards turn 3? Because that's if he gets held up behind the racing wall, this undercut is worth nothing then for Kamara Racer. Then he needs to make sure he stays ahead then going into sector 2, than he has done. And Vessier is lagging all over the place there. Kaido was also in the pit lane. He is calling it then on the soft compound tyres, and I think having to sort out that front wing as well. Then once again, then the front wing damage around here is going to be plentiful, as we can see then with the racing ball then of Farf. But yes, so unfortunately then for Kamara Racer, he's now got a bit of a problem. Then he's got to worry about the cars behind him, really, to be fair, unless he can get himself out of that 1 second window then in the next couple of corners or so. Then as we go into sector 3 now, then he's got fresher tyres, but he's not gaining that gap any higher than I don't think just about yet. Or maybe he's going for it now then, because he's now got a 9/10 of a second gap then, but Farf bringing him back in this part of the lap then. Beast then trying to get himself back past Gordo. Then Gordo has not been able to mount a charge then on Kiki at this point. And Moomin is doing a great job of distracting people in the lead pack. Brilliant stuff indeed. Fantastic. So there we go then. And yeah, unfortunately, like I said, for lap cars, you've got to get set out of the way then. Mr. Elite into the pit lane now, and I think he might be going to copy what Kamara Racer has done then and switch onto the hard compound tyre very soon, or very now. So into the pit comes the McLaren, then onto the hard compound tyres he goes, and away he goes then out of the pit lane. Where will he come out then? I think, unfortunately for him, then he will be behind this battle then between Kamara Racer, Farf, as Vessier's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately for Vessier, then it goes from bad to worse then for the Ferrari Grove, then into the pits then to sort out that change of tyres as well. Then hard compound tyres going on and back out on the way. Mr. Elite's come out behind Farf now. Which is bad news for Mr. Elite. Then he wants to, like I said, with Kamara Racer, he wants to be ahead of the cars then who have not pitted, to of course make most of his undercut then. But he is going to have to try and get himself past the racing bull then at his next opportunity. Then Vessier has been passed by R2Beat. Then R2Beat is trying to get himself back in this race as well. Then both of the Ferraris now going to have to work together in this Grand Prix to try and get themselves back in contention here. Kydell is still going. He's on the hard compound tyres now to the end of the Grand Prix. Hopefully, potentially, if it's a safety car, then can get himself back into the race as well. Then he is on the lead lap still. Moomin Ninja has been lapped, unfortunately, so he's not been able to get himself in contention then for this race then, unless safety car comes out then and the leaders do pit then, which they probably will do because they're on used, or not used, but they're on older medium compound tyres yet to come into the pit lane, so he will be able to stay out then and get himself back on the lead lap then if that is the case. Yeah, the McLaren of Kydell then trying to get himself back underway then in this Grand Prix. 2 seconds the gap then out in front. Then oh dear, we've got pit stop action. Then here comes Gordo. Gordo in the pit lane now, calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres. Can he slow it down in time? Yes, he can. And into the pits comes Wild as well, then in the kick sour. Then so medium compound tyres dying off here in this Grand Prix. Hard compound tyres going to be whacked on those cars. And here comes Sweet between the Alpine and pit lane for him, as we get ourselves calling it a day then on most of these tyres, I should say. Then Gordon then out onto the hard compound tyres. P8 for him as it stands. Then that is currently, well, I think it was a net P2, wasn't it? Then it was trying to get an undercut then on Kiki. Potentially Mercedes could have picked up one of their drivers then on that lap as well then to cover off the Aston Martin as well. Then we'll have to wait and see what the undercut is looking like then in this race. Kamara Racer has got out. Goodness me, that was close indeed between Farf and Sweet MJP. And Jesus. So Sweet MJP has got himself past Farf then on the exit of the pit lane, I think then, and just out ahead then of the Racing Bull then as we go into turn 3. And yes, unfortunately for Farf then, he is yet to pit then in this Grand Prix. Lewis Riley's got himself past Reflection now. Reflection chugging along then on the medium compound tyres. Lewis Riley having a bit of an internet issue there as well. Both the Ferraris then trying to work together then in this Grand Prix as well. Then as we go in towards turn 3 then, not the best place to work together then if you're going to go side by side into the apex of turn 3. But there we go. What do I know? There we go then. 4 seconds the gap between the Mercedes pair. Then Kiki is on a mission here. Look at him go. He is absolutely flying then compared to the championship leader then of Beast, who is unfortunately losing out a bit of time then to his teammate as it stands then. Will we see some more pit stops in the top 7 on medium compound tyres? Will they call it a day then coming to the pit lane? I don't think Mercedes will, because they're going to have to double stack if they do that. Gorda then is going to be the next race leader then if, of course, Kiki doesn't pit then, because Kiki is in the pit. So Kiki calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres. Can he hold on to the race lead though is the question, because Gordo, where is Gordo? There is Gordo coming through the kinks now, heading down the main straight. Then you can see his rivals then in the pit lane. Of course, Kiki then is his main rival then in this for the lead of this Grand Prix. Then where is Gordo going to be? Then there he is. I think they're down the main straight. Kiki coming out the pit lane now. It's going to be close indeed. Then there is Gordo in the background. And there you can see Kiki as well coming out the pit lane here. And that undercut has worked wonders then, because he's got himself back in contention with some DRS here as well. Fantastic stuff indeed from Gordo. That 1 lap extra on the medium compound tyres has been very costly for Kiki, because he was over 2 seconds away then from Gordo before the pit stops then for the Aston Martin driver then, and that 1 extra lap then for Gordo, getting those tyres up to temperature now could make him put him into prime position, I should say, to challenge for the race lead then and potentially the race win here as well. Oh, have a breathe. So here we go then. 300p has passed Astra John then, and he's had a problem somewhere, has the Alpine, because he lost out. He was behind Mr. Elite then. He's now lost out though. Mr. Elite has got himself onto the back of Nigel here, which is brilliant stuff indeed from the McLaren driver then. But of course there's going to be difference in tyre life around this circuit then, and because it's such a long lap, the tyre wear is going to be very different as well then, potentially by a few percent or so as we get towards the checkered flag then onto lap 26 then. But we've still got quite a way to go before then. We're only at we're not even at the halfway distance just yet then. Goodness me, I should be in bed by now, but there we are. So there we go, good stuff indeed. Bloody hell, Wild all locked up coming into the pits. Love it, says Ginger Rage. Bees can get the undercut on Kiki, says Pot Stuff. Well, I think it went the other way around, didn't it? So yes, so Beast has stayed out. Yellow flags. Bit of Vesh is retired. That's going to be a safety car. Surely it is a safety car, and that is going to be interesting stuff indeed. Who's going to call it? There is Vesh's car then stranded at the castle section, and it has claimed the victim here as we get ourselves into the halfway point. Pit stops then for Beast. Moomin needs to stay out then. Where is Moomin? Moomin has stayed out. Brilliant stuff indeed. Moomin's back on the lead lap here, but he seems to be lagging a bit then. But there we go then. As we go through, then Kiki has gone through, then Gordo has gone through as well. Where will the rest of the order? Wild is coming through the first turn then, and Wild has gone so up into P3 there. He's done 2 extra laps then compared to Beast, but Beast now out in P4. Jay Hings, P5 for him. Speed Guy coming out of the pit lane. Is he going to be ahead of Kamara Racer? He is going to be ahead of Kamara Racer. Then P6 for Speed Guy. Kamara then P7. Nigel P8. Then Flippy P9. Mr. Elite is P10. So we're P11, then Astrodon P12. This is going to be good news for the likes of Lewis Riley, R2 Beat, then Farf, Reflection, Kaidel, and Moomin Ninja. They can get themselves caught up to this to the train now, and back in the fight then for this race as well. Then as we go through into the second half of the Grand Prix, there, all of the drivers now into the pits then to sort out their tyre compounds. Then it's going to be medium compound tyres for Lewis Riley and for R2 Beat, soft compound tyres for Farf. Or unless he's pitting now, as we do, yeah, there's medium compound tyres now, as we go through then into the second half of the Grand Prix now. And like I said, it was just about to get spicy indeed. Then unfortunately for Vessia, then the castle section has claimed another victim, and it was the Ferrari then of Vessia. Then I'm not going to say any Charles Leclerc lines because that'd be very rude of me. But there we go. Then Kaidel then is going to be out. Well, Kaidel's in the pit lane, so unfortunately I'm not quite sure. Yeah. If your racing brain would say catch up at the safety car queue and then pit, because then you've got the fresher tyres. That's what my racing brain would say anyway. But there we go. So never mind, medium compound tyres going on, and back underway we will be probably in a couple of laps time. It's quite a stretched out stretched out queue at the moment. Everyone on the lead lap still though, which is good stuff. Of course, it's a very long lap around here, so you want to stay on the lead lap as best you can. And we can crack on then for the restart of this race. Then Moon is also in the pit lane, and this is going to take a while then for Movement. He's not even been serviced yet, and he's going to be he's almost going to be back on the back lap then at this rate. My goodness me, he might actually. Oh God, he's taken so long there in the pit stop that he's almost a lap down once again. Yeah, it's going to be a very long time indeed before the safety car comes back in, because we're going to have to wait for the likes of Kydell then and Movement to try and catch up with the queue then, and they're going to take a very long time around this very long circuit as well. So brilliant stuff. Tommy's elbow, remember that, Ginge? No log what race? That was because it was in silver and I was commentating on it, and it was the Tommy Kinks then back then, but it's now the Sean Kinks, or the Shawnee Kinks, or whatever you want to call it, because Sean has driven through Azerbaijan then and not broken one controller, and it was absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. And Reflection is back into the pit lane here, and he's got plenty of time then to get himself into the box and back out, because of Kaido and Moomin Ninja are miles behind. So he's got all the space in the world then as Reflection. Medium compound tyres going on then, and back underway he goes. So there we are, brilliant stuff indeed. So there we go. Well, Moomin is coming through Sector 2. The safety car is actually not too far behind Moomin. So Moomin is coming through in Sector 2, then just finishing off the safety car, as Moomin is lagging all over the place as well there. Right, the safety car is just coming up to the castle section soon. So, yeah, there's going to be quite a long pause. I think the safety car might actually give up, unfortunately, then, which is the problem then for drivers then who are pretty slow on their in-laps, or not in-laps, their safety car laps, because they, unless they've got some sort of delta glitch where they're having to adhere to a delta, which they shouldn't have because the leaders have caught the safety car now, then it takes them quite a while to catch up to the safety car, and the safety car gets bored waiting, and it does come in without waiting for you as well then, as I never knew, because it never happened to me. So there we go. But there we are. So right then, we're just like I said, waiting for the safety car to get himself sorted and back away into the garage, and we will hopefully not see him anymore in this Grand Prix then. Hard compound tyres then for the majority of the field. Then Kamara Racers on the oldest of the hard compound tyres, 5 laps old. Then they should be able to get to the end of the Grand Prix from here, no problem. Still, I think those who are on the fresher hard compound tyres will have a much better run than at the end of the Grand Prix. Then medium compound tyres for most of the field outside the top 12. Then mediums for Lewis Riley, R2 Beat Favre, Reflection, Kaido and Moomin. And here we'll have to wait and see how the medium's going to fare then in the rest of this Grand Prix as well. Then we'll have to find out. Escaping third, or accepting third already then, says Injuration. Oh, I'm miles behind then, there we go. It's what Alex called a bend in front straight there, Arthur Young coming. Sorry about the incident, Beast, I just slid into the corner and couldn't stop, my bad, says Gordo. Not quite sure what happened there, but nonetheless, I'm sure it's all sorted now. Remember it tomorrow then, that's it then. Moomin's Racing burnt, says Serious Mushroom, and hopefully he's not. He is still a long way back though from the safety car, so fingers crossed he can catch up then, because otherwise it will, I think it will come in at the end of this lap, as Astrid John's got a 10-second penalty then for a severe collision with Sweet MJP, and oh dear, that is bad news indeed. So hopefully that can be sorted out after the Grand Prix itself. But like I said, we're still going to be racing under safety car unless Moomin can catch up then, or unless the safety car decides to call it a day waiting for him and get himself back into the pit lane anyway. But there we go then. So I think that's just a bit of a warning then. If you are too close to the car in front of you under safety car, then that sort of thing happens then. That is just generally what happens then anyway under safety car. So yes, you're best advised to just not be too close to the car in front of you. Simple as. But there we are then. Right then, so Moomin is, I think, into the almost into the same sector now as the safety car train, and we can hopefully get ourselves started once again then for the well, like I said, it's not even the second half now, we're already well into the second half. We're going to have about 10 laps of racing at the end of this lap, and we'll see how it's going to unfold then for the final stint then of the ALR Silver Season 8 Azerbaijan, goodness me, I forgot where we were, Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And of course, this is the final race then before the break week, then 2 weeks break, or 3 weeks technically, then before the next race for silver. Gold has already started their break weeks, of course, after racing last night then. So Silver then will have their break weeks as well. Safety car is coming in this lap then, so unfortunately has given up waiting for the Haas of Moomin, and we will get ourselves restarted here as well then, waiting for that safety car to get himself back in the pit lane for Kiki to restart the Grand Prix here. But hopefully it is a good restart, because we don't want any disasters, of course. So right then, we'll get ourselves ready then to restart this Grand Prix. So of course break week then coming up for the next 2 weeks, next 2 Mondays then in a row. Then there is no silver racing then, because we're on a break then because of the US and Mexican Grand Prix. Then we'll be back then in 3 weeks time from tonight for the Singapore Grand Prix round 18 of the silver season. Right then, safety cars back in the pits, and away we go. Good start indeed, very early start, and that's what I like, because it gives everyone much of an opportunity then to sort themselves out then as we go down towards turn 1. And here we are then heading into turn 1. Then there's action behind us. There's Beast, and there's what's going on there. There's Jay Hings as well. Then goodness me, Wild has got the move then on Beast, then up into P3. Then has he? Yes, he has. As down the inside then goes Jay Hings. Then there's contact then back in the field. There's more problems then. It looks like Jay Hings and Speed Kai. And Speed Kai just needs to stop then, because that would help the issue. Both of them have dropped down the field then. Moomin's dropped down the field as well then. Speed Kai's dropped down to the back of the field then. Kaidel and Jay Hings has all had an issue then. Reflection and R2 Varf has gone through and past Astra John then into P11. Oh my goodness me. Action packed then on the restart. It looks like then Reflection and R2 switching places, then medium compound tyres for them, of course. So they will be faster at this stage of the race then, I would imagine. We'll have to wait and see. But yes, whatever happened then between Jay Hings and Catboy Kai will be looked at after the race, no doubt then, I'm sure. But it seemed like there was some sort of issue then between the two of them then heading through on the exit of turn 2, wasn't it? So there we are then, Gordo. Right then, challenge for the race lead then. Wild now up into P3, Beast and P4. Nigel then has lost out there somewhere in the middle part of this lap. Then he is down 1.8 seconds then from the top 4. Now he's going to be challenged by Kamara Racer then into sector 3. Then Mystery up into P7. Brilliant stuff from him. Both the Alpines of Flippy and Sweet MP then in the top 9 as well. And Lewis Riley's got himself into the top 10 as it stands at the moment then. But there's contact between Farf and Lewis Riley, and both of them have gone in the wall. And again, it's just why? Right, well, never mind, we'll just ignore that. So there we go then, lap 16, no, hopefully it's lap 2016. Right then, Beast has got himself past Wild, then down the main straight. DRS now enabled, then up into P3 then for the Beast. Kamara Racers past Nigel then for P5. Heading into turn 1, then R2 and Astra John are fighting as well then into the first turn. Then round the outside goes Astra John. Can he hold it is the question. We go through into turn 2, then he has got himself past them, but DRS now available then for the Ferrari heading through towards turn 3. Right then, where is Gordo? Gordo trying to challenge. No, not challenging just yet. Then Wild then trying to challenge as well, then staying behind. R2 then up into P10, then passing Astra John, then Farfus into the pit lane now. At the end of that lap, then whatever happened with Lewis Riley then into sector 3 then was, yeah. Just all that's what I've got to say. So there we go. Right then, Beast and Gordo trying to challenge then Kiki, Mr. Wild. Sorry, Wild is also there. I keep saying Mr. Beast and Mr. Ultimate Beast and whatever. But Wild is also there then, P4. 2 seconds back now. Kamara's up into P5. Then he's past Nigel then on the previous lap. Then heading through the castle section. Now that was very close indeed to the wall for the Williams driver. My goodness me, then it is getting very spicy indeed. Then Mr. Elite then P7 then. Currently looking pretty good out there, but he's got challenging then from, he's being challenged I should say then by both the Alpines then for that P7 position here as we go through onto lap 18 in the next sector or so. And there we go then, flying through then into the down the hill then towards sector 3. Moomin has picked up a penalty then as well. Then unfortunately for Moomin, that is the first penalty of the night then, or first penalty then of the night in terms of a 3-second penalty. That is because of course Astra John's penalty then is a 10-second for collision under safety car, so that can be looked at after the race itself. Aladdin taught me a good rub can bring good things, says Ginger Age. Well then, I know what I'm doing after this. So there we go then. Beast then is trying to challenge and into turn 2. Oh my, turn 1 I should say then. Goodness me, the top 3 so close together. Then there's more action there as both the Alpines have passed Mr. Elite then into turn 1. Then up into P10 goes Astra John, passing R2 Beat as well. He's gone deep though, and that's going to be opening the door then for the Ferrari to go down the inside at turn 2. Not quite then. There's a Williams of Reflection involved as well then, as is Jay Hings, who's called himself back up to the fight now for the edge of the points paying positions. Then can he get himself back in the top 10? We'll have to wait and see then. Mr. Elite trying to fight back then into turn 3. Not quite then from Mr. Elite. Then R2 Beats back down the inside of Astra John, and there's contact. And there's contact then between the two of them then as well. Then as we go through into turn 3 and 4, and Azerbaijan has got himself through just about then, but there's all sorts of action then between the two of them. Then the Ferrari and the Red Bull, they're not having a good time out there as we go around the outside now. Oh my God, there's more contact. And, oh my goodness me then. Oh, there's more contact again. Oh my word. Yes. I don't understand that, but yes, nonetheless. Reflections had a problem then as well. Then I think has he got damage now as well? Probably. Yep, he's lost an end plate then as Reflection. Oh, he's almost into the wall at the castle section as well then. Goodness me. Farf then is on fresh medium compound tyres, unfortunately down the back of the field, and after a wing change here. Gorda then is trying to keep hold of Kiki. Then Kiki once again trying to stretch his legs after a few laps then. He gets his tyres up to temperature, then he powers on away then from the rest of the field then. Gorda trying to hold on then for the time being. Then lap 18 then turns to lap 19 very shortly. Then 7 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. No mushroom finish strong, says Gingerbread. Goodness me, I'm not sure what is going on in the comment section. It seems like it's going well. Mr. Elite has got himself back past an Alpine of Sweet P. Then can he challenge then for the second Alpine? Then P7. Kamara Racer back past Nigel then for P5. Then splitting the kick Sauber pair then as it stands. But now could be under pressure then heading down towards turn 3. We'll have to wait and see then. But now through turn 2 then we go. Reflection is in the pits again as well. Then unfortunately all that damage then sustained then in sector 2 then trying to go side by side through there. Nigel then can't mount a charge then into turn 3 then on the Williams of Kamara Racer for the time being. Gorda then trying to challenge then Kiki. Then he's back into the fight, the close proximity. Then soft compound tyres going on Reflection's car and back underway then for the Williams driver. And there is Farf coming down through turn 1 now. Reflection coming out of the pit lane very close indeed then to the Racing Bull. Good stuff indeed then. If we see some more action then more safety cars then will probably appear then in this race as well then. With only 7 laps to go then there's still time for a safety car. And I'm sure I probably jinxed it now and the safety cars will be out then very shortly. But there we go then. Mr. Elite then trying to get himself back in contention then with Flippy, who's doing a good job then currently P7 then. Wild then is doing the best of the reserve drivers so far, but Flippy is doing a good job in P7. Yellow flags for a Haas. It is Moomin who's had an issue. It's a virtual safety car here, and yeah, Moomin's had an issue then, and he's got a 10-second penalty. Then what is going on here? My God. It's a virtual safety car has been deployed. Then will anybody choose the opportunity now to pit in this race? I don't believe it is the best time to, but we will see. Of course, you lose less time in pit than compared to a pit stop under the green flags, but you still will lose quite a bit of time then compared to those who are going to try and stay out to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Lap 20 then has commenced as we go through into the first couple of turns then of lap 20 as well now. Nobody pitting then in the top 10 as it stands. We'll have to wait and see them anyway down the order, then we'll try and make their way into the pit stops. And yes, there is pit stop action for Astra John, who is into the box then, calling it a day then on the hard compound tyres, as is Lewis Riley. Then Kiki's got a drive-through penalty there. Kiki, the race leader, has got a drive-through penalty there for speeding under the VSC. That is horrible stuff indeed for Kiki. It was all going his way. Then Nigel got himself past Kamara Racer, then into... No, he's clouted the wall then. And Nigel's got damage now after that VSC here. He hasn't, actually. How has he got away with that then? Flippy then challenging Kiki has had a problem as well then in sector 2. And Moomin has retired in the pits. My goodness me. What is happening in this lap then? The VSC's got away then. Kiki got a drive-through penalty then and has had made a mistake then as well. Then Moomin has left the session and he is retired in the pits as well then. Reflection passes Astra John then, who's come out of the pit lane now as well then. Goodness me. Lewis Riley's pit for a soft compound tyre then as well. Good stuff indeed. And cracking on with this race as well then out there, which is fair play to him as well. Wild then is now having to P3 then into the podium places on his first Grand Prix in ALR. Kiki's had an issue then. Kiki's got a drive-through penalty then. Has had an issue then in sector 2 then, I think, in anger then at the drive-through popping up as well then, which unfortunately has affected his race even worse, because now he's down to P4 then, and now he's got the challenge in the Kamara Racer, Nigel, Flippy, Mr. Elite, Sweet MJP, all right behind him as well as we go down the main straight then. Will he serve his drive-through penalty now then and get it out of the way, or will he try and carry on in this race? No, Kiki says much. Says Ginger Rachel. That is Austin Powers' name. Says Ginger Rachel. Well, then goodness me, I'm not quite sure. Reading the conversation out in the wrong order, then it's not helpful, is it? Right then, unfortunately for Kiki, I think he's down. He's out down to P14 here as well. Then P13. Sorry, I should say that with all that shenanigans going on behind. Then here comes Wild. Then lining up a move. Then for P2. Then down the inside of Beast. Then up into P2. Then goes the kick Sauber. Takes away then that P2 position from the Mercedes driver as well. Then of course Mumford will be hoping that Beast does not score any points tonight, because he is going to be trying to claw back the difference then in the championship then when he does return then after the break weeks as well. Beast pushing that kick Sauber through sector 2 then almost, and very close stuff indeed. Then Kamara up into P4 now, Nigel then P5, Flippy P6, Mr. Elite back up into P7 where he was before, Sweet P then P8, then R2 beat P9, J Hings back into the top 10 here as well. Catboy Kai then is all over the back of him as we go into sector 2 then. Oh my goodness me, don't go for a lunge there. That is never going to work then, unfortunately, as we go through into the castle section now. Kaidel then into P12 then could be a good result for Kaidel then if two others have a bit of a struggle, and we might see another struggle of these two once again then. If Catboy, sorry, not Catboy, if Kaidel can get himself 2 more places, then he can get himself into the points paying positions. It could be a first point of the season for Kaidel there, but I probably cursed it now. I'm very sorry. As we go through, then Kiki then is down in P13. Then can he get himself back into the top 10? Then it will be a massive feat then if he can do that, because it's going to be quite a bit of a challenge then for Kiki then to bring that gap down as well then in the last 5 laps or so. Then Reflection coming through the castle section, and here's P2, but here comes Wild. Then Wild has got himself up into P1, then Beast has passed Gordo then into P2, and Gordo dropping down from the race lead, then down to P3, then Nigel's back past Kamara, then for P4, then up into P4 for him, then Beast has got himself back past Wild as we go into turn 2. There's contact, there's an issue then for Beast, then coming through the second turn, then the Beast has lost out to both drivers then, as he got damage as well. Then he might have got some damage clipping the wall then as well. Then goodness me, the championship leader then lost out 2 places then after getting himself up into P2, and then up into the race leader, the exit of turn 1, then he's lost out at turn 3, he's back down to P3 here. My goodness me. It is all over the place, isn't it? R2 is into the pits as well then. Astrodron has passed Farf now, and Farf then dropping down to P16. Astrodron has got DRS then on Reflection as well, going down to the start-finish line. Then, goodness me, there's more lag. God. Yes, there we are then. Okay, Speed Kai then is up into P10. Then of course we had pit stops then for R2 Beat then, who's dropped himself down to P13. Can he gain those places back then in the next 4.5 laps or so then as we go through into the castle section now then for lap 22. Then here comes Wild now leading the Grand Prix then on his first appearance in ALR. Then he is leading the race here for Kick Sauber. Then of course Potstuff is going to be very happy with that, I think, for the Kick Sauber team as it stands. They're currently P1 and P4, but we'll have to wait and see then if there's going to be any more chopping and changing then for the race lead, which I'm pretty sure there will be. Then this close proximity between Gordo and Beast as well, and these top 3 then scampering away, then 8 seconds clear of Nigel in P4, and Kamara, then Flippy, then Mystery, then Sweet MJP then are all in this battle as well then for that P4 position basically as we go through the Shawnee kinks onto lap 23. Sorry, Gordo takes the lead then into turn 1. Then Wild then covering off the attacks from Beast. Then as we go into turn 1, then Flippy's past Kamara Racer. Then Flippy, goodness me, then there's all sorts of action here as Flippy's gone for the P4 position, passing Nigel. And he has got himself past Nigel as well, then up into P4. Nigel down to P5, then Kamara P6 then. As it stands then, let's have a look at this battle back again, then into turn 3. Then where is Wild going to go then? Is he going to go for the move then for the race lead into turn 3? No, not quite. He stays behind. He has got he's got the oldest tyres out of the top 3 as well. Then 10 laps for Beast. Nigel's got himself back past Flippy then for P4, and back into turn 3 then goes the Kick Sauber. Then he's taken the position back. Then still 8 seconds to go to the top 3 though. Driver of the day is out in the comments section as well. Then Gordo, Kamara, Mr. Elite then, and Nigel are your candidates for driver of the day. Then we'll have a quick look at the position changes as well here. Gordo then up 3 places as it stands, is in the race lead then, but he's under pressure then from Wild, who started P2. Beast, who started on the front row, or in pole position I should say, then down P2, down 2 places I should say, then down to P3 as it stands, that is. Nigel then P4, then he's gained a place then in this race. Then Flippy P5 at the moment. Then Kamara Racer P6 then in the Williams. Then good stuff indeed from him. Mr. Elite then has gained 4 places then for from P11 up into P7 as it stands, and could be even higher then if it goes his way. Then Reflection's had an issue somewhere as well. Then Reflection has dropped down a few places there as we've got more changes for the lead. Then Beast and Wild have come together then at the exit of Sector 3. Then he's into Sector 3. Then that could be very costly indeed for both of them as we challenge for the race lead. Then Gordo trying to scamper away. That unfortunately hasn't cost them too much time, and he has been able to keep himself within DRS range then. But Wild and Beast then coming together then at the exit of turn 15. And I'm not quite sure they're going to be in each other's good books then after that one. Well, I didn't see exactly what happened then, but they both went wide, and whoever was on the inside probably had a bit too much speed then into that corner then as well. Sweet NP has passed Mystery then for P7, then Sweet NP up into P7 now trying to challenge his teammate and Kamara Racer. Then can he get himself back in that DRS window of his rivals as well? They're heading through into turn 2. But not quite, I don't think, unfortunately for him. Then out in front, then here comes the battle, then back into turn 3. Then Gordo still holds on to the lead. Beast then up into P2, then Wild down to P3. But they're still challenging then these three. It could be anybody's race win. Speed Car has got himself past Jay Hings, then up into P9, now passing the Aston Martin, then into turn 3 as well. And trying to challenge on in this race as we go through then onto lap 24. Then 2 laps remaining at the end of this one, and we've got half of this one to go still as well then, so it's going to be all action stations then in the last couple of laps here through the castle section. We go then very close indeed for Beast to the wall there, but very well calculated as well then from the Beast. And of course he's a championship leader for a reason, isn't he? So he has got the race wins, he's got the etiquette, he's got the knowledge of how to get those race wins under your belt then in this race as well. Then Farf and Reflection switching places. Then Farf, goodness me, oh my days. I thought there was going to be a collision there, but thankfully not then. And Reflection then holds on to P15 for the time being. Then where is Gordo? Where is Beast? Where is Wild? We're going on to lap 25 then, the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix very shortly then as we go through the Shawnee Kinks once again then. This is the Shawnee Kinks because Sean didn't bin it then in 51 laps, I think it was then, of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in the 100% League, which is absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Then here comes Wild, he's getting closer. Then, oh my goodness me, they almost touched then. They're going to go past Gordo into turn 1. Then Wild's got the inside then of turn 1. Then Beast is going to have to concede, and Gordo is there somewhere as well. Then there he is. And Beast then held on to P2 just about then into turn 2 as well. Then goodness me. And they've all chopped and changed there as well. Fantastic. Goodness me, it's all over the place, isn't it? As we go on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, then heading down towards, oh my goodness me, I thought he was going to go for a move, then was Gordo, but his mind have just put the nerves onto the Beast there, but not quite just yet. Beast has held his nerve very well indeed there, and very good stuff, very good battling as well so far for the top 3. Then hopefully it stays that way then for the rest of the race. Then Nigel's held on to P4, then going through into turn 4, yellow flags for a Ferrari. Marty Beat has had a problem then at turn 1. Farf is into the pits then, unfortunately for Farf then. I think he's going for the fastest lap of the race then, same for Lewis Riley as well. Both of them into the pits then on the penultimate lap now, and we'll be able to get that fastest lap point then for themselves and the team, should they be able to get that fastest lap on the final lap now. But we will have to wait and see then. Let's see what the top of the order is going to say. This is going to get tight and spicy indeed. Then Gordo's dropped off a bit here. Unfortunately then for Aston Martin, that is going to be bad news indeed if he can't hold on to it, but I think he's still got himself a bit of ERS to play with then down the hill towards Sector 3 then. Getting a bit stretched out now as we go into the final few corners and the Shawnee Kinks once again then for the penultimate time here in Azerbaijan. Then let's see how it's going to unfold then onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. Then it's going to get spicy indeed here in Baku, the land of fire. Then it's going to be a fiery finish then for the top 3. Let's see what it's going to be then for Beast as Beast takes the lead then into turn 1. Then he's only going to be ahead then of the Kick Sauber then before we get to the braking zone. And Gordo going down the inside then, or switch places then, wrong angle. There we go then. Gordo's got himself through then. I think there was a bit of a chopping and changing there as well. Then goodness me, then back of the order then we've got Flippy going for the move. Nigel then down to P5, Kamara then P6. There's contact then with Sweet Andrew P, then Sweet Andrew P, and Kamara is out of the Grand Prix on the final lap of the race. And my goodness me, it was going so well. Let's just say that Farf's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Beast has got the lead of the Grand Prix and is holding up the likes of Gordo and the likes of Wild as well here as we go through into Sector 2. My days, it's absolutely chaotic, isn't it? Mr. Elite, my candidate for driver of the day, fantastic stuff. And Kydell's in the points paying positions, fantastic from Kydell as well. Hopefully he can hold on to that then, but it might be very dangerous from Kiki's point of view. But there we go then, we'll have to wait and see then. But hopefully he can hold on as we've got more yellow flags. It's for Oh, I thought it was for a kick Sauber then. It is for a kick Sauber. It's for Wild. Wild's run out of fuel, has he? No. What's happened to Wild? Wild's had an issue somewhere. He's lost the front wing. He's lost the front wing as Wild. It's gone all wrong for Wild then, unfortunately for him. Then heading down the back straight then, we've got another problem then. I think, no, we haven't. We've got it all sorted then. Here comes the race leaders then, now down to 2 as we go through the final couple of quarters then to finish off the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Goodness me, I don't know what I've been watching, to be fair, for most of it. I have not been able to see what is going on then because it's been absolutely action-packed all over the place then. Here comes Gordo then. Can he challenge for the race lead then? Can he challenge for the race win? I don't think so, because Beast is going to claim the victory here in Baku. Brilliant stuff indeed from Beast. Then he takes another race win under his belt then here in Silver Season 8. He's the winner then of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff indeed. Well done indeed then. Gordo then P2, but I'm not quite sure what happened then between the top 3 then. Wild has lost his wing, but he still finishes in the podium places there. We'll have to ask him what happened then in the interviews. And Nigel then claims P4. Brilliant stuff indeed from Nigel. Fantastic stuff indeed for the Kick Sauber team as well. Then Flippy P5, Sweet Andrew P6, Mr. Elite P7. Brilliant stuff from Mr. Elite. Catboy Kai then P8 as well. Then Jay Hings in the points as well, P9. Kiki P10. Unfortunate for Kaidel, 0.4 of a second. Then he missed out on the points paying positions, but well done to Kaidel. Best race result of the season as well, I think. Fantastic from him. Then RTB P12, Astra John and Reflection P13 and 14. Favre and Lewis Riley then are challenging then for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here as well. My goodness me, Wild driven superbly then as well. Then Silver, a bit chaotic, but brake is needed. But there we go then. No Kamara, says Goku as well. Then not quite sure what happened to Kamara then on the start of the final lap as well here. Lewis Riley, I think, gets the fastest lap of the race as well. Yes, unfortunately that was that then. Kiki said he could have easily won as well, but unfortunately the drive-through ruined his race as well there, which is a big shame there. But congratulations then as well then to everyone who got to the finish line. To be fair, it was a difficult one indeed then, and that is the situation that we get then in Grand Prix racing, which is just the nature of it, isn't it, really? So top step then is Beast, then championship leader, then extends his lead by 25 more points then. Gordo in P2 then for the Aston Martin team, and Wild then P3 in his debut appearance, and a podium for the Kick Sauber team then. Fantastic stuff indeed from him as well. And Kamara wins driver of the day then for the Williams team. Then unfortunately, I didn't get to the finish line then, did Kamara, but I'm not quite sure if there was a helping hand then or not. But the exit of turn 1 then, the Williams driver retired then on the final lap then, so a bit of a shame then for Kamara Racer. There's your classification then for the top of the order then. Beast then P1, Gordo P2, Wild P3, rounding off the podium. Nigel P4, Flippy P5, Sweet P P6, Mr. Elite P7, Catboy Kai Speed Kai, P8, Jay Hings P9, Kiki rounds off the top 10 after that drive-through penalty as well. Then good recovery to get himself back in the points then. Kaidel P11, RTB P12, Astrodron P13, Reflection P14, Lewis Riley P15, fastest lap for him. Then Favre P16, Kamara P17, Moomin P18, Vesia P19, and Plotters P20. Right then, we'll have a quick rundown of the podium celebrations then. Ultimate Beast then, hopefully you had a fantastic race there tonight. We'll do a very quick interview then because we run over then tonight as well then. But how was that race for yourself then? A bit of Baku action then, and you got yourself a race win once again.
Well, I'm sweating after that one. Absolutely chaos. First stint on mediums, I mean, you can even ask Kiki, like, it felt like it was full wet conditions. My tyres was only like, what, 30%? It just felt so slippery. It's crazy.
And it didn't matter in the end. You had a fantastic battle then to finish off the stint. And of course, safety cars played a factor, but they always do in Baku. So there's not much you can do about that. You have to just hope that it's timing-wise, it's not too difficult for your race then. But how was the battle then in the final stint? And can you tell us what happened with Wild? Well, we didn't see if it was you or if it was just himself through the castle section. But do you know what happened with Wild then on that final lap?
No, I did not see. I was focusing on trying to get it through without crashing. No.
He was behind you then,
yes. Yeah, he was behind me, yeah. Third stint, not third stint, second stint is, wasn't too bad. Definitely better on the hards because it was less tyre wear, but, yeah, just one of them races.
Well, again, another race win for yourself, then extending your championship lead. Then, and despite it being a difficult one, you go into the break week then with I think it's over 100 points now. Your gap then to Mumford, who of course didn't race it tonight. Then, do you think the title might be almost in your hands? Or you've got one hand on the title already?
I feel like I'm definitely some percentage on the trophy. I don't know how much, probably like 40%, I would reckon. I mean, there's still like what 200 odd points or something. So I don't know.
We'll see how it goes then, but well played then to Ultimate Beast. Then another race win under his belt here in Baku tonight. Then brilliant stuff indeed. Gordo, I think, have you joined us? Say hello.
Yep. Hello.
Hello, Gordo. Then P2 tonight. Then you were challenging all the way. Then even at the opening stages, of course, for the race lead. Then and potentially, well, to get yourself in position for the race win. Did the safety car help your strategy then, or did it sort of hinder it then after making that earlier stop?
I would say it hindered it more than helped. Me and Kiki had a decent gap to everybody else, a good few, like 2 or 3 seconds. So looking back now, I'd have probably preferred if that safety car didn't happen. But at the end of the day, it did, so you just had to go on with it. And I mean, seconds are a pretty decent result, do you know what I mean?
And once again, challenging then the top of the order then for some big points tonight. Then you've got well, it was a bit of a drag race down to the start finish line then on that final lap, but unfortunately ran out a bit first. Then we were looking at the years on the final lap there as well. But nonetheless, are you happy with the P2 position in this race then, or did you think you could have got the race win under your belt?
Happy-ish. Happy with second. Second's a good result, but to come that close to winning Wednesday here, then today, obviously, it's also a bit disappointing. You'd want to win at least one of them, but I'll happily take the second. I mean, Beast deserved to win it. You know what I mean, he done really well for the whole race too. So, but yeah, I'll take second, but would have liked first.
Well, fair play indeed. Then once again on the podium, then for Gordo as we go into the break week as well. I'm not sure if Wild has joined us, but Wild, are you there? No, you're not there, unfortunately. But fair play to Wild as well. Then on his debut appearance, then P3 for himself, then reserving in the Kick Sauber here tonight. Then, but fantastic stuff indeed from Silver. Then, of course, Baku then is usually a chaotic Grand Prix. Let's just put it that way. But there we go. we'll sum it up there. But well done indeed then to Beast then the race win. Then Gordo P2 and of course Wild then in P3 as well. Then we'll have a 3-week break now before we're back on your screens for Silver. Of course, Bronze will be taking you through Baku tomorrow night then before they head into their break week as well then. And we'll be back on the 4th of November, I believe it is, for Silver then for the Singapore Grand Prix. But there's plenty more action coming up between then. So stay tuned to ALR and we'll see you soon.